think you'd want to go to the cheapest doctor, do you? You probably don't want to go to the cheapest lawyer. But and yes, certainly there, especially in the arts and entertainment O1P1 context, there are those paralegal shops that will do it for a lot cheaper. And then, of course, I've always seen many cases come across my desk where things were screwed up, and now we are fixing the problem that was created by those kind of shops. So, as a client, I think it's important to have the right relationship with your lawyer and to choose correctly and not
Yeah.
just think about the fee, but also they know what they're paying for.
In turn for us, our costs are going up, and just think when I quote fees now to people compared to what it was like 5 years ago, I remember I'm like, wow, essentially we're double the cost of what it was 5 years ago. And so it's like the inflation is really kicking in. And it's because my head, I always think, I can't believe this much more. I feel bad sometimes when I quote a fee, but I'm like, we can't do it for anything less. It's going to lose money. It's not even worth us doing it if we're going to charge that amount. And so it's like, how do you, it really makes access to justice hard. The clientele we're talking about usually higher income ladder, but even then, they're going to be squeamish about this stuff as it gets more expensive, let alone the asylum and removal defense people who fees are going to be really high anyway, so the cases are complicated. Plus, many times they just don't have the wherewithal to do it. Have you been doing anything to make your processes more streamlined? Are you using AI or any other systems to try to save attorney time on cases?
Good question. Yes, we are. I am reluctant and I'm more old school, but I also feel like if we don't get on the train with AI, we're going to be left behind in the dust. So I don't want to do that either. So we are trying to get into figure out how we can use AI. And there are specific AI tools for immigration, specifically for O-1, EB-1
Mm,
visas. So it is an interesting exercise. I can't say that we have been actively using it yet because AI is just not, at least what we've been trying to do is just not quite, the quality is not at the level that we like to produce for our clients. But I think it's going to get there.
yeah,
I don't think it's ever going to be like you just load up all the
yeah.
evidence and here is the petition and it's ready to go. It'll still need us to curate it, to supervise the evidence and the write up. We produce a pretty substantial support letter for these kind of cases, and obviously there's legal analysis involved. But I do know it's coming and it's going to happen, and we all need to figure out how to use it. Because also, I think the fees are going to come down, and other
Yeah.
lawyers who are proficient at it will be able to charge a lot less, and we're just not going to be competitive. So we need to figure out that sweet spot.
And I guess one last question about this kind of stuff is how do you deal with the document collection for O's and EB1s? It's so intensive. And have you found a streamlined way to make it palatable, or do you force clients to properly label the documents, or just give it to yourself or paralegal to go one by one and label them, for example, and organize them? How have you dealt with that mess?
Yeah, it's a mess. I agree. So we tend to collect them through secure portal, either our case management program or like a Dropbox box, something like that. And then different clients are different. Some of our science clients tend to be really more involved in labeling and in giving us the sometimes they want to meet with us and discuss the documents. We don't necessarily need to do that. We know what they are. But the arts and entertainment clients, it's very hard to get
Yeah.
things out of them. Sometimes we are doing research online to, especially if it's somebody really accomplished, that's all we're going to get from them. So we're just going to gather our own documents and prepare the case, and it's everything in between. It's just a very personal, but it is a very labor intensive process. I agree, and I don't think I haven't found a better way to do
No,
it. So we do spend time collecting, analyzing, figuring it out.
that affects pricing too, because like you don't know ahead of time how well the client's going to deliver documents. And it's like insurance. Some insurance clients like use a lot of healthcare and some don't. And it's like to average it out. And it's sometimes unfair for a person who's really efficient, but we never know.